Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another video. This time is of the Mafex Wolverine, the X-Men Wolverine, obviously. So this one looks great, looks fantastic. It was delayed. It was something we were expecting sometime in August. Now we're getting it right at the very end of the year, breaking in the new year pretty well, I guess, if you are a big fan of Mafex and you really like what they got going on. Aesthetics-wise, this figure is very pleasing. He's very light in the accessories, but he has a look that goes uncanny and timeless, and it's a look that everybody pretty much likes. So, if you enjoy the basic Tiger Stripe Wolverine or the look that matches that of the video game or X-Men the animated series, this may be the Wolverine for you. So, let's jump into this. If we get a close-up look right now on him, you can see that this Wolverine definitely has the look and the feel of the video game / animated series vibe, which I know is going to resonate with a lot of people. It has that nice brighter blue metallic instead of that darker blue metallic. That darker blue that we get hue-wise. This is definitely a lighter color. So think of this sort of like a P2 color, right? Or your X-Men versus Street Fighter colors. This is definitely your Wolverine for that. Now, unmasked head-wise, I'll get into that in a second. We definitely get a lot of stuff. But with this Logan, I'm definitely feeling it because we definitely get a whole look here. We definitely get the semi-smirk. We get the long mask. We get the Joe Quesada / Adam Kubert look where the mask is longer. You have a little bit more definitive of the proportion of the body. We have the long arms, the short legs for a guy who's supposed to be 5'3". And it definitely has the look. Now, with all that being said, let's jump into my favorite part, the articulation. So our head can go up, it can go down, can tilt left and right. On the ball joint for the head, it has that curvature that allows you to get that extra room and extra realm of movement. Sorry. Yeah. Realm of joint. I don't know. It's all these words for movement and articulation. It doesn't mean much. The point is you get what I'm saying, right? As far as QC paint, you may have some paint rub on the blues here around the collar. Overall, though, I don't think it's too much of an issue. I think it's done a great job paint-wise. Now, as you can see, our shoulders can kind of glide in and glide out, and it's not super tight joints, which is really, really done pretty well. As you can see, it curvatures in, allowing you to get that range for when you want to gut a guy for Wolverine with your claws. I think that's very important to have for Wolverine. As far as the shoulder blades, these shoulders are actually on a ball joint on the back of the top of the shoulder. So these can move around this way on a ball joint. So they can cover in and out and make him still look good. Now, one of the issues I do have, and I want to touch up on it first while I'm covering articulation, is that Wolverine has an arm issue where the peg doesn't seem to be long enough. So immediately it'll feel like you're pulling the arm out almost at every turn. This is something that he suffers from. This is probably the one QC issue that I could think of. Otherwise, mine really doesn't fall apart. But this arm issue is going to be definitely for people, and it's going to get frustrating when you're trying to do certain articulation moves. What I can suggest you do is that you plug the arm back in, and when, there we go, I caught him. What I can suggest you do, he's very slippery. You slide this back in. You wait for it to lock, because it may not lock the first time. But you got to definitely push up until it locks in. And when you are moving around your arms, the best thing I can suggest you do is you move it from the top of the shoulder and the top of that ball joint. So when you're moving out and rotate, you do it this way. That's the best thing I can honestly recommend you, because what's going to happen is when you're constantly moving it, you're going to feel like it's always coming out, which at some point it really is going to feel that way. But obviously I'm rotating it here and there's no problem. It doesn't fall out, but it will get frustrating when you're constantly posing your figure. So just keep that in mind, guys, for when you're doing anything. Just be a little gentle, but this may be quite annoying for some people. The arm is indeed double jointed, and we have a ball joint that moves around with no issues whatsoever. All the joints seem to be pretty tight with the exception of that one QC issue. Now, as far as it goes for our upper torso articulation, we have a left, we have a right. Like I said, mine is pretty tight. We cannot go backwards due to the way it's structured right here in the back. So it doesn't go too far backwards. But move down the belt, you get some ab crunch going forward, and you can get more crunch when you bend the lower ab. So as you can see here, you can get your ab crunch. So when it comes to crouching poses, I don't think this will be a problem with this Wolverine. So you can see he's crouching down now with pretty much no issue whatsoever, right? Now, as far as the legs go, as you see here, they could bunch up, no problems. There's that inside thigh swivel. Can't really go too far, but it does go up and down. goes in and out. Legs are double jointed. I've tried to swivel that boot cut, but mine is very tight. I'm going to try to loosen it up, see what happens. I do believe it's movable, but as of right now, mine is very, very stuck. So I'm going to say it's a big no. I want to say yeah, but I want to be certain. So right now, it's a big no. And we have a super generous ball joint with crazy good ankle pivot. Definitely great for when you want to get those Berserker barrage poses, or even doing jumping poses. As you can see here, he can pretty much cover majority of his body and ball up. So you can even turn yourself into a fastball special. They've even done a way of placing the Marvel symbol in a place where you don't have to see it too often. So even shots from behind will come out pretty good. Now, even when you pose this guy up, right? Let's see, we're going to gently pose this guy up because of the arm issue. Voila, looks fantastic. And I was out of focus that whole time, so you didn't see perfectly. But as you can see him here, he is pretty well posed up, and he holds the pose really, really well. Crouch down, so good, right? Now, what we get accessory-wise is a little low. What we do get is we get 2 open palmed hands. For those of you that haven't made cigar customs, this is for you. There's an opening in between the hands, definitely for cigars. I think Mafex definitely wanted to cover that because I know they can't include it due to the Marvel no smoking rule. Then we get a growling head, which will definitely fit more better here on this crouching Wolverine than the grinning, slightly grinning face. And this looks absolutely great. All right. Also, I want to touch on the fact that these are soft, so you don't have to worry about them breaking on hard plastic or falling. They're soft. Just don't let your cat chew it up. Then we have the unmasked head. Now, for some people, this unmasked head is going to be an issue, but if you've read old school comics or even some in the past 10 years and seen Adam Kubert or Joe Quesada draw him, I can definitely say this is based off some of his art, even some old Jim Lee and Eric Larson stuff, even Mark Bagley, when they were all drawing house style back then. This is definitely based off of older art, and I think their print tech on this has actually came out pretty good. It may not be for everyone's liking, but this is definitely still pretty good head sculpt. With that being said, we also get the cowl down. So what you do is with this, you place it right over, place the unmasked head on, and then voila. See? No problem. It's going to suck in the front, though, because it doesn't sit flush. You're going to definitely see the difference in the opening, which kind of makes it look pretty bad. But overall, I hope it doesn't look too bad. Now, for everyone's thing, here's Logan with his claws. Now, the claw hands actually are really nice, and they come out really long. Again, I'm assuming that this is based off the Adam Kubert art, because Adam Kubert, Joe Quesada are 2 people I know that draws the claws very, very long. So if we're looking at them like this, let's fix that focus. Voila. He still doesn't look bad. I think he looks fantastic. But the long claws aren't for everyone. Even I want a custom pair of a little shorter ones. But this Wolverine is definitely grown on me. At first I thought, I don't need another one. I could sell another one. But I actually like this one a lot. The more I'm playing with it here on camera, the more I'm like, wow, this is dope. It's a nice figure that definitely fits my my animated aesthetic. So I do regret not pre-ordering the Cyclops. I did not pre-order that. So now I think I'm going to. Hopefully it's still available. If not, then I guess I'll have to get it later, right? I did not pre-order the Cyclops, so I'm a bum for that. And I pre-order everything. So I guess me trying to slow down didn't work out in my favor because I really like this Wolverine now. So I'm going to stand this guy straight up. I'm going to put the masked head back on to show you what this guy looks like next to some other versions of him, some X-Men, some things like that. So I'm realizing now my legs are actually pretty tight because my leg joint got stuck in there. I'm going to try to pop that in. Nope. I'm going to have to definitely figure this one out. So my leg joint is stuck. So what I'm going to do is now, there we go. Actually, I got it. Just gonna, because I was actually going to try to edit to it, but I can do it right here on camera, so it's not too big of a deal. It's better that I show you guys when I can fix something than cut it. Hopefully that will help someone who is looking or in need of some assistance. And I'm going to leave the claws on as well too, because I think this will fit when comparing it the other claws of that of the Marvel Legend. So I'm going to stand him up as straight as possible. so you can see what this guy looks like next to himself in other lines. First thing I'm going to do is compare him to that of the Marvel Legends and that of the Mezco. So here he is next to the Mezco. I did not take out my Mezco claws because I forgot, but I did do that of the Marvel Legends. So the Marvel Legends one definitely has the height perfectly done because he is the smallest, as he should be. Claws are a little shorter to show a more updated look, but definitely, I like all three. I really do. I think there is a more orange yellow here, but there's definitely a more metallic blue. Well, this is actually metallic blue on the shoulders as well. But these definitely have the lighter blue. So either way, if you are a Wolverine fan, it is a good time to be a Wolverine collector. You definitely have another adaptation that you can add to your collection. Now, we're going to show this guy what he looks like next to some other stuff. Some other X-Men, some other Avengers. Because Wolverine's kind of gotten around, so he can fit in just about any and everywhere. So let's mix and match a whole bunch of stuff. Here he is next to a Mezco Cyclops. I think size-wise, these two work pretty well. I think it's one of those things where you put them together, you separate them, they will definitely mix and match pretty well. If you want to see what he looks like next to a Jean Grey, I don't have one, but I do have the Phoenix version of her in Marvel Legends. I think this is also a pretty good height. Right? Here is a Kitty Pryde. Oop, didn't plant those feet. I definitely have to fix those warped feet. Here he is next to Kitty. She's still taller than him, so that's good. She shouldn't be by much, but the point is, taller. Here he is next to his main man, Elf, one of his best friends. And I think that this isn't terrible. I think Wolverine should be a bit shorter here, but it still works out. Here he is next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops. There should actually be a bigger gap because, from what I recall, Cyclops is pretty huge. Here he is next to a Mafex Deadpool, the same line. And I think proportion-wise, now it definitely fits. You definitely see it in Deadpool being bigger, even with the Gudahiri art version. Here is a Marvel Legends Silver Samurai, whose leg I need to fix, but we'll see if I can get him on there, right? So his, like, oh, come on, don't do this to me, dude. Ah, it's jammed. I'll have to do that later. But you can see Silver Samurai actually stacks up pretty well too, height-wise. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this guy down. Next up, we have an articulated Icons Ninja, and we all know Wolverine has fought a lot of ninjas in his time, so this is definitely well placed. Here we are with a Lightning Collection Red Ranger, an SH Fig Arts Ryu for when you want to get your X-Men versus Street Fighter, a Mafex Spider-Man, and an SH Fig Arts Kamen Rider. So as you can see, Wolverine is definitely small, but not the smallest guy here. Either way, he's definitely doing a good job. I like the way he looks. Aesthetic-wise, it's very pleasing. Next up, we have a big old Colossus. This is a Marvel Legends one. Then we're going to do Juggernaut. This is also Marvel Legends. We're going to do Omega Red. I think Omega Red is a great fit. Then we have a Mezco Gomez. And then we have Mythic Legion's Barbarian Last. All in all, I think Wolverine, considering how far and wide he's been in many universes, this is a dope fit. Besides the QC issue, if you can't overlook that, this may not be for you. But I think permanently, like, this belongs in just about anybody's collection if you are a Logan fan. That being said, it's up to you to decide on how you want to do it. I'm just here to provide the information. As always, guys, be good, do good, drink your water. Later.